Hey folks, and welcome to Greg's Golf Shack. Are you using a golf ball that suits your game and suits your golf swing? Now there's a lot of different technologies that go into the golf ball, many different layers and covers and lots of different names like distance and speed and things, but there's some key factors that the average recreational golfer doesn't really know. So let's talk about it, and I'm going to share some of my thoughts of what can go into making the right choice for a ball for your game. Now one important point is that just like getting fit for a set of golf clubs from a professional, you can also get fit for a golf ball. They'll look at the data and all that kind of stuff and see which ball works best for you. But in the meantime, let's look at a couple key aspects that I think are important in making a choice for a golf ball. Now, if you're a beginner golfer and you're just trying to make contact with the ball, I don't think it matters. Choose any ball, you're going to lose them in the woods and everything. As you start improving your game, then you might want to pick a ball that best suits your swing. But for those of us who are recreational golfers, we're working on our game, we're looking for some improvement, there's some features of a golf ball that can either help us or just better match our swing. Now, the first thing I'd like to talk about is the cover of the ball. Now, a lot of premium golf balls have this soft cover on it. Now, it might be made of urethane or another material, but to simplify it, it feels like a rubber coating, like there's a little rubber skin on it. And the alternative is a ball that's maybe not a premium or just a different kind of style, and you get it and it feels like there's a hard plastic cover on it. And you can kind of tell if you can dig your fingernail into it or not, if it just scratches over the surface or if it just kind of digs in a little bit like you could peel it. Now, where this comes into play is some of the control we have over our ball. And it depends on, the different area of our game. So when you're driving the ball, a ball with a hard cover will generally have a little less spin. The driver face doesn't have really big grooves in it. And that's why you see a lot of balls that say distance on them and speed and everything are usually a hard cover ball. Whereas the ball with that softer cover, the premium ball, might have a little bit more grip, and it can generate maybe a little bit more spin, meaning if you're slicing the ball, it might slice a little bit more. But honestly, when it comes to a driver, I don't think the difference is going to be that much. When it really comes into play is our approach irons and also around the green. What happens when we have a soft cover ball and we get the grooves on those wedges or those irons coming down onto the ball, it helps grab that ball and generate the spin necessary for a little bit of backspin. And that's why we see, when the pros are playing on TV, the ball, whether it's a 6-iron or 7-iron or 8-iron, it's coming into the green and it usually stops pretty quickly. And then when they're hitting their pitching wedges and gap wedges and those kind of things, we see the ball stop and even spin backwards. And people generally associate spin as a bad thing because it's spinning into the trees or going over the green or something, but not when you're hitting it into the green and not when you're chipping around the green and everything. That little bit of spin gives you a lot more control. But when you have these hard covered kind of plasticky coating balls, it feels like, there's less chance that it's going to grab. It's going to slide a little bit more on those clubs. Now this is just generally speaking, but then you're not going to get that spin, meaning the ball will land on the green and bounce and just keep rolling. And around the green when you're chipping, it's just going to keep rolling out, and it's a little bit more difficult to control the distance. And you lose a little bit of feel. So for golfers looking to improve their game, I suggest you use a ball that's of a premium style and has that soft cover. It's just going to give you a little bit more feel and control as you're improving your game. Now, another factor I think is very important in choosing a golf ball is the compression of it. When you're looking at a box of golf balls and it says firm or it says soft, they're not talking about the cover, they're talking about the compression, which basically means when the club head comes into the ball and makes contact, how much the ball squishes on the face before it launches off. And compression is a very important consideration as far as our swing speed goes. Now, I see a lot of my friends, they think, I want to use the #1 ball in golf, and they choose, a Titleist Pro V1 because it's so good, but that's got a really high compression, and they've got a low swing speed, and it doesn't really work for them that well. So the general idea is the higher your swing speed, the firmer you might like your ball. There's a number for compression. Sometimes they'll put it right on the box, sometimes they won't, so you might have to do some research. And if you're looking for some specific information for a golf ball, you can look up mygolfspy.com, and they usually have a ball lab where they do a full review and they can give you some of that information. But when we look at something like a Titleist Pro V1, which is a premium ball with a soft cover, this is a high compression ball. The compression is somewhere in the 90s in the measurement units that they use. And that's the kind of ball that a pro would use that has a lot of swing speed, sometimes, up to 120 miles an hour. And that's actually very similar to, the Kirkland balls we might get at a discount at Costco. It's around, 90 compression as well. If someone with a low swing speed is trying to hit a high compression ball, they're going to lose distance and they're generally going to see a lot more wild spin. So for someone, the average golfer with a lower swing speed, you want to use a lower compression ball. Now these lower compression balls better accommodate the lower swing speed so you can still get that optimal squish on the club face and have it launch off at a decent speed. So with a lower swing speed, you're generally going to see more distance with a low compression ball and a little more control. Now I generally use a high compression ball, but I often switch to a low compression ball when it's really cold outside. In Newfoundland here, we play a lot of golf rounds in 5 to 10 degree weather, and I find I can manage my standard distances a little better if I switch to a lower compression ball when it's cold. Now, a couple of examples of a low compression ball, the TaylorMade Project A. I think it's, discontinued now, but you can still buy them used. And it's very similar to the TaylorMade Tour Response and Soft Response balls these days. And the compression value of that TaylorMade ball is around 70. So it's significantly softer than a Pro V1 or one of those premium tour balls. Another option, for example, is this Bridgestone Tour BRX. And this is about 79 on the scale, and the BRX-S is even 65 on the scale, meaning it's really low compression. Now there's lots of different brands out there. These are just a couple I have on hand and have used. And you might want to have a look, and if your swing speed is lower than 100 miles an hour, even down into the 80s, a softer compression ball is probably the right choice for you. Now, the final and important element of choosing a golf ball is affordability. We lose balls in the woods and the water. We don't want to be spending $5 a golf ball. And when you're buying used golf balls, you don't necessarily want the ones that have the cover all scuffed off and everything. I mean, we want that soft cover for a good reason. We don't want it to be missing. And when you get refurbished golf balls, they often put, a little bit of a coating on that cover and you lose that original soft cover feel. So a lot of premium balls are pretty expensive, even some of those lower compression ones I mentioned. So a place I like to get my golf balls is called lostgolfballs.com. It's in the US, and you can buy balls in bulk there for quite affordable prices. And they have different grades of quality. I usually get the level 4 quality, which means there's no damage to the cover, but it might have some marker on it or a stain or somebody's put their initials on it. Who cares? And you can get those at a discount. Those of us who like to use a high-end premium ball, some of the expensive ones like a Pro V, I like to use the Kirkland Performance Plus. Very affordable if you get them from Costco, and even more affordable if you get them from Lost Golf Balls. And I've played this ball side by side with a Pro V1, and I've had near identical results. Now the only thing is this is a higher compression ball, so it might not be suited for you, but if I had to make one choice for an ideal golf ball that kind of meets these requirements, the Kirkland ball is one I might recommend, because it's affordable, it's got the premium cover, but it is a little higher compression. Now, if Kirkland Signature came out with a Performance Plus Soft, that would be the ideal solution to cater to your average golfer. So I hope some of that information gave you some general ideas about the influence a golf ball can have on your game and put you in a better place to make the decision for a golf ball that suits you. So I hope you find that information interesting. If you like this content, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Greg's Golf Shack.